What's up, guys? So I'm about to get interviewed on my good friend's podcast / YouTube show, Millennials on the Move. So you guys pretty much can tune in right now. We're about to get this party rocking. It's about to go all the way down. So see you guys. Well, I guess you guys will see and hear us for the show. All right, cool. I'm ready to rock whenever you are.
All right, cool. So welcome to Millennials on the Move, and I'm really excited today because I met this amazing person at Funnel Hacking Live 2019, in Nashville, a event that we just came back from. I want to say like almost a month ago, and it was the most life-changing experience I've ever been to. That was my first one I've ever been to. Nehemiah has been to a few, but so Nehemiah Davis is our guest today, and yay, I'm excited. And so could you tell us just a little bit about yourself, what you like to do for fun, not so much business, what you got going on, just about you.
So a little bit about like the backstory or just like
backstory, your favorite color, like you like to draw, whatever.
Just in a nutshell, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for the last 11 years. And that, for me to get to that journey, I was exposed. So just to fast forward, my dad been in jail since I was 2 years old for murder. I was raised by my mom and my grandmom, and one of my mother's main objectives with me growing up was to expose me and show me what was possible with what she had and with the reach that she had and what she knew, right? So one of the things she did, which was literally the turning point for my life, right, was she sent me to a school where I was the minority. And in this particular school, I got to be exposed, right? I got to see, like, I grew up in a drug-infested neighborhood. All I ever knew was like a row home, and just literally just the combines of my neighborhood. Anyone who inspired me, they were either drug dealers. So all I knew was that. I'm like, man, this is what I'm going to do when I grow up. I'm going to do this. But then when I went to school, it actually showed me like, whoa, it's a whole different world out here. We had to catch a train to get there. We had to walk through like woods to get up to the top of the school. It was just like, it was different for me. And that brings me to my favorite quote is, once your mind is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. Mm-hmm. So at this particular school, I got my first opportunity to be exposed. So I got to spend the night at several of my friends' homes. A lot of their parents were multi-millionaires. One in particular was my good friend, Frank Coco. And at his house, he had four-wheelers. He had horses, right? He had maids. He had a pool house. I only thought a pool house existed on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? And I just didn't understand, like, yo, this actually exists. So that kind of really opened my mind to actually show me, like, there was more. Fast forward, I ended up getting kicked out of that school. Had the opportunity to go to college, started off college great, ended up getting kicked out of college. So to a point in my life, right, my dad been in jail since I was 2. I got kicked out of high school, got kicked out of college. To this point, I had 9 jobs. I've been fired from all 9 of those jobs. And I decided to get my 10th job. And for my 10th job, this is where it changed it all. Brings me back to my favorite quote. Once your mind is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. So what happened to me was, at this job, I worked at the private airfield, which was called Atlantic Aviation, where I got to see millionaires come in, billionaires come in. I used to go and service all of their jets. Like, my job was to remove like their waste. Like when they go to the bathroom, I had to remove it all, right? So that was my job, nasty job, but it exposed me because I didn't know about private jets. I didn't know you literally could book a jet, drive out to your jet, you don't jet and be up in the air in a minute. Like, we always was told, go wait in line, get to the airport 3-4 hours before. So I didn't know this existed. So I even got on Donald Trump's plane at that time. He had a 220 passenger jet converted, right? It had literally a couple bedrooms, a bed in there, a kitchen, a full bathroom. And that just exposed me like, man, if these people are able to have this type of lifestyle, like, what's stopping me from getting that? Right. So eventually I got fired again. But that was the turning point for my life, because at that moment from there, I decided to take ownership. I said, I'm going to own my life. I'm going to make something out of myself. And 10 years later, haven't had a full-time job. And just to kind of answer the thing about what I love traveling. That's one of my favorite things to do. At that job, it exposed me to traveling. That's where I got that inkling to travel. And at the time, I used to write down every single day. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to travel the world. Fast forward today, I've been to 54 countries from manifesting it, believing it, and working. So that's just a little bit about me trying to get a story quickly in the nutshell.
Right. So many gems were dropped, and we haven't even started, low key. And I just really want everyone who is tuning in, everyone who is going to see this interview, it's the power of manifestation. It's the power of not being able to, you know, see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to keep falling down, keep getting fired. That means that may not be for you. Like, I am a firm believer of what is for you is for you. So everything, all of his journey that he's gone through, it was supposed to happen. It was supposed to lead him to this point so that he can actually change lives because of his story is so impactful. So please listen to this man as we talk through this interview, because I feel like this is what you need to hear. So let's get into it. Entrepreneurship, right? So you have I like the way that you teach, right? So I feel like it's very direct. It's very simple. It's very to the point. Not too many words, not too many large algorithms and all. No, it's just super simple, and a lot of people, it just resonates. So let's talk about your style of teaching when it comes to entrepreneurship. So you're trying to teach people to basically create income for themselves. I know it's probably more things because you're an award-winning author as well. So let's had to throw that in there. So let's kind of talk about how you got started with that particular thing.
So as far as teaching, first, I need you to know I never planned. If you would have told me 10 years ago, like, Nehemiah, you're going to be a teacher, someone who hated school. Like, I hated school. I cheated my whole way through school. I didn't want to be there. Like, if you would have told me 10 years later I would be teaching people and I would be an advocate for self-education. Like, now I'm an advocate. Like, get your education. I spent $26,000 last year on my education. This year, I'm probably going to do like 100,000, right? I'm an advocate for it because I understand now the more you learn, eventually you're going to remove the L, right? So now it's like, I'm like, how can I learn more? What's next? What's the next strategy I can use? What can I do now? What can I do tomorrow? Constantly, I'm thinking that way. So for me, the reason why I like to simplify entrepreneurship, because again, to me, I always say, I'm not that smart. It ain't that deep for me. I need it to be as simple as possible. I went and taught some kids yesterday in 45 minutes how to start a business. 45 minutes. I say, hey, have you ever heard this information ever? Never. Would you think you ever will hear it? Never, right? So I went, listen, it's 3 steps to starting a business. Number 1, you find a product or a service to sell. If you don't know what the product is, you can go online, you can sell bath bombs, you can sell t-shirts. There's so many different things you can sell. Okay, for a service, what comes easy to you and harder to others, right? What is your gift? What do people tell you you're good at? Young lady, I see you have lashes on. I see a girlfriend have lashes on. Could you learn about being a lash tech and start doing lashes? Okay, now you have a service. Number 2, develop a sales pitch. Right? Develop a sales pitch. This is going to be the key, especially for a child, to help you sell so much product and service, because as a child, what they got to understand is they got a unique power. They're young, they're youthful. Most kids aren't entrepreneurship, so you get the allure of, oh my gosh, you're a business owner at 15, 14.
Right.
So you're going to sell it don't matter what you sell, you're just going to sell it because you develop a sales pitch. And what's the sales pitch? It is who you are, like your name, how old you are, what you're selling, why you're selling it, and the price. That's it. When you develop that skill, and then number 3 is you sell. That's it. Go talk to as many people as possible, say your sales pitch over and over and over and over again, and start selling. So I literally like to break it down. That's literally how I broke it down to them. I got in their mind, rearranged their mind, teaching them why there's nothing wrong with having a job, but working a business is better. So I had to break down to them the job math of, hey, if you go work a job, those kids were like 17, so some of them can work 8 hours a day. But if they're working 8 hours a day, they're getting $8 an hour. They're working 8 hours, so they're getting $64 a day. They're going to work Saturday and they're going to work Sunday. They're going to make $64 each day. That's $128, right? But here's what we forgot about the $128. That's going to get taxed, right? Once it gets taxed, it's going to come down to like $95 or something like that, right? So now that it's getting taxed, Now that it's getting taxed, we're getting $95 for the 16 hours, but now we forgot something, right? We got to spend an hour preparing for work. We got to spend an hour going to work. We got to spend an hour coming home from work. We got to do that exact same thing Sunday as well, so Saturday and Sunday. So now we go from working 16 hours to working 22 hours. So now, instead of you getting paid by the hour, you're still getting paid by the hour, but for the 22 hours, because you got to include the time it takes to get there, to come home, to prepare. So now $8 an hour go down to like $3.95 or something, right? So you spend 22 hours over the course of your weekend to work to get $95 to be on someone else's time, and not to mention the $95 is less than that because most kids got to catch the bus to and from work. That's another $5 to $10 for the weekend. Now you're down to $85. Right. So then I say, hey, once you have a product, once you have a service, guess what we do now? We go sell it. Right. So everyone, you said t-shirts. You selling a t-shirt for $20. If you can sell 20 t-shirts in 4 hours by going to go talk to 50 people, right? And now you're making $400 in 4 hours. You're doing that again tomorrow. Now you're making $800. Right? After maybe expenses, maybe $500 is yours, right? So do you rather make $500 and work 8 hours, or do you rather work 22 hours and make $85? The concept blew their mind, but they will never be taught this concept because our parents aren't teaching us this concept because they don't know the concept. Exactly. We have been conditioned to work. It's nothing wrong with working, but like, if you realize your parents right now, my mom lived paycheck to paycheck. My mom couldn't buy what she always wanted. My mom couldn't do this. My mom couldn't teach me about credit. Right. If we're going on that same path, it does not make sense financially or just thinking wise to put our kids down.
Yes.
Realistically.
Yes.
Why would I send them down the same path that I just went down that literally does not make sense? Right. So this is why I teach them the 3 simple skills. Right. Start, find a product or service you can sell. Number 2, develop a sales pitch. And also, if you're translating that online, maybe a website or a sales funnel. And number 3, sell. That's it. So I like to simplify it because when you overcomplicate it, you said something earlier, like a lot of us go try to do it on our own. And in doing it on our own, which I think is the long way, you overcomplicate it. I need this to start. I need this to start. No, you just got to do those 3 simple steps right now and you can start a business. And that's for children or adults. But if children start, they're going to win a lot faster because they got a superpower of their youth.
I agree. So I want to touch on that. So if anyone knows me, y'all know how I feel about kids, right? So this has been like a long-term love that I've had ever since I was little. I've always wanted to own a daycare, right? Like daycare. I wanted to do it my way. I feel like we are not allowing them to tap into their potential power. I feel like we underestimate children on like a grand scale all the time. And so what I thought, I was like, okay, if you can teach a child to be a leader, right? There are very small things that you can change, give them responsibility. Like it's very, very simple to build a leader, essentially. So what if you take a class like yours at age 3, because they can understand, break it down in layman's terms, and have these kids selling whatever by the summer. And they don't even have to talk. Low key, a kid can literally stand in the yard with whatever they made out of clay, right? And then their mom is just like, oh my gosh, it's $1, blah, blah, blah. And they're getting so much money. And they're not going to understand that concept. But I do believe seeing is believing, right? So if you're constantly being exposed, if you're constantly being put in certain situations, and you're just going to automatically, that's just going to be your life. You know what I'm saying? So when you did that video, it resonated with me. I'm just like, yo, this is what I've been telling parents that I know. I'm like, yo, with whatever your kid wants to do, just let them do it. You know what I'm saying? Have them think on a different level. Like, what could they be selling? So really quick story. My mentor told me when she was younger, her mom wasn't too hard on her, but for the most part, she kind of got to the point where it was just like, okay, you need something every week. Why you always need something? Something is $75, something is $35, something is $50. You're going to work for this one. So you figure out how you're going to get that choir robe, that's $75. So she was like, come up with an idea, come back to me, we'll talk about it. So essentially, she basically made, $1,500 in the summer selling lemonade. Like, literally, it was like, okay, well, I like lemonade. It's hot in Dallas. Might as well just sell lemonade on. And she made way more than $75. So her mom challenged her to think, you know what I'm saying? And although I think she was like 10 or 11 or something like that, but the power of, and you know what I'm saying? The power of being able to do that on your own, that in itself can, catapult a kid, light years away from where they are mentally.
I don't know this young lady's name, but she might be 13 or 14. Her lemonade is now carried in Whole Foods across the nation. She's like 13, 14 years old. But it all starts with the idea. This is why exposure is so important. And I think for a lot of parents, they're like, oh, but they need to be a kid. I'm like, I think they should be a kid too, but they also should be learned. Like, it's the same thing. You require them to go to school, right? Just put an hour in a day on entrepreneurship. It's the same. At least this is going to help them out in the future. At least it's going to prevent them from going in bad debt. At least it's going to prevent them from jacking up their credit. At least it's going to prevent them from wasting all their money on things that does not bring a return.
Right.
So I'm not telling you don't let them be a kid, but it is mandatory for them to go to school, right?
Right.
Spend an hour at that schooling, teach them things that's going to actually matter when they're 18 versus not.
Exactly. I agree. So it brings to my next point. Now, like you said, we've talked about your backstory. You have had, 10 to 11 years of like challenge, right? Like just complete defeat, fired, blah, blah, blah. So right now in your success area, where do you feel there are still challenges? What, and it could be an inner challenge that you struggle with, or it could be a challenge with the people that come to you for your services.
So, I mean, the challenges now is just about growing a team. It's literally
growing a team. Okay.
So I was at a conference. Marshall Silver said something important to me. He said, you got to stay away from MWA. What you talking about, man? He said minimum wage activities. I'm like, whoa. Right? And I'm going to say it again. You got to stay away from MWA, which means minimum wage activities. So now what I'm focusing on is only focusing on my gift. Like I can get assistants, virtual assistants, people to do things I'm not good at. I should only be focusing on activities that produce high results, that produce income, that's going to produce impact, and that's going to produce influence. Anything else needs to go. So one of the things I suggest everyone to do, get yourself a virtual assistant. Begin to delegate tasks, right? A simple challenge. If you had to get a virtual assistant or assistant tomorrow, what would you have for them to do, right? So a lot of people a system may drop in your lap tomorrow, but if they come tomorrow, you actually don't have a clue what they need to do.
Right.
So I want everybody, if you listen to the show, just write a list. If you were able to get an assistant tomorrow, what would they do? What can you get off of yourself? I'm not composing emails. I'm not scheduling my calls, like things that I physically don't have time to do. Like we're on this call, I just want to show up. Right. My assistant set it up. Hey, we want at this time. Cool. Okay, you got another one. Cool. Let me just show up and do what I do, which is speak. I don't want to do all the extra stuff. So one of the challenges that a lot of us face as business owners is doing a lot on your own. So I'm working on growing our team. Right. And that would be the biggest challenge I would say is growing a team. And that's the biggest challenge that I'm seeing now. And I just wish I went to conferences, got mentorship sooner. I think mentorship is the growth hack. Whether it's free, whether you're paying for it, you need to get that mentorship because it will get you a lot. Like I like getting to places faster, right? The reason why most of us catch the airplane to go from one destination to another destination, we don't have time to be in the car. We don't have time to be in traffic, right? The reason why millionaires and billionaires, a lot of them, some say, it's not practical to take a private jet, but they don't want to spend an hour preparing to go to the airport. They don't want to sit in the airport for another 3 hours. They don't feel like checking their bags. They don't feel like then being amongst a bunch of different people who they don't know. They want to be able to leave their house in a few minutes, get to the jet, fly, get to their destination. Because those 3-4 hours are worth something to you.
Right.
Like, I don't know everyone. Also, you need to identify what your time is worth. What are you worth an hour? right? What are you worth an hour? So this is going to help you identify like what tasks you should be focusing on. If it's a $10 an hour task and you're worth 20, you shouldn't be doing it. If you're worth $1,000 an hour, you need to only focus on those tasks that's going to produce you the results that you want.
Right.
So I think that's for everybody. Identify what your focus should be and only focus on that.
Right. So the funny thing that you said, you wish you got a mentor sooner.
Yep.
So I had one. I just wasn't ready. I didn't utilize her. Right. So 2015, I got my mentor. She gave me, I was like, I'm ready. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. She gave me a task, and a few tasks. And so thinking, coming straight out of college, like, I was like, I can do this, whatever, structure is easy. But when I had to create my own structure, that's when it got difficult. So setting a time for myself, like I'm not working a 9 to 5. So I tell me when to wake up, right? I am not a morning person, just not, hate mornings, whatever. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I set a schedule for myself. I had my task, I had my to-do list, blah, blah, blah. I would be getting these things done, but I would be overcomplicating them, right?
Yeah.
And so when we had our 6 months evaluation, and I'm like, we have that? Like, why do we have that? Like, this is not like you know what I'm saying? So we had it, and so, you evaluate yourself 1 to 5, 5 being great, 1 being not. So I'm like 3, okay, 4, okay, 5. Like, I'm like rating myself like super high, right? So then she gets it, and she's like, no, this is a 2, that was a 3, that was a 2. I'm like melting, right? So like another part of me is like the perfectionist side, right? You did school so well. School was easy for me. You know what I'm saying? You did school so well. You just study, you just take the test, go home, whatever. That's your job, right? So now that I was giving something that was, I think, more mentally challenging, that was, it just didn't work for me. And then I kept falling back like, dang, well, I'm not making the money that I want. Like, why are we doing stuff to make my business? Why aren't we doing stuff to, but it's like Russell Brunson gave that great analogy, Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid. Why are you teaching me how to wax on, wax off? I don't care about cleaning a car. I want to make money. I want to be able to beat this guy at this dojo. You know what I'm saying? So it's about the journey along the way, but it's the little things that we learn that are going to help us, later on in life. So that whole instant gratification, like I want it right now, that's where I was. And now that I'm in a space to know that I know better,
And it's funny you said about the journey. So for me, like I go to these conferences, and when I go to, you can't go to one conference and think you're going to learn it all. Like I learned stuff from Russell. I learned stuff from this person.
Right.
And all I'm personally doing right now, like I'm a contractor technically. Like this how a good contractor has a lot of tools. Mm-hmm. like the tools make the job easier. So every conference I go to, I'm picking up a new tool, which is also known as a skill that I'm able to put in my tool belt. So I never know what I'm going to use. I need to learn how to effectively communicate. I need to learn how to write. I need to learn how to do webinars. I need to learn how to do all of these things. Right. So this is why I promote, go out there, learn from people. You're not going to learn everything from me. You're not going to learn everything from you. But if you could grab one thing from you, you put those in your tool belt and you can go apply it at a point in time. Mm-hmm. This is how you get ahead quicker. Right. Scale.
Right. So instant gratification, y'all gonna have to let that go. But get a mentor and listen to them when you get them. Like, don't think you know it all, because I felt like, I'm not gonna say I felt like I knew it all, but I didn't think I needed as much help. Like everything, especially when everything is just so easy for a person, like I can pick up on something really quickly. Like I learn fast. When it comes to technology, I can do a website in a minute, like nothing, right? That's just the way that I am. But in doing that, you don't achieve excellence in every single thing you do. You're just good at everything. So the art of mastery, the art of actually, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff makes so much sense. So being good at everything and not being excellent at one thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of really doesn't balance out. So I'm speaking to those people who feel like they have it all, who feel like they know it all, who feel like they just can do it on their own. I challenge you to not do it on your own. I challenge you to do what Nehemiah said. Pick up tools along the way from different people. It's a jet flying over my home. Okay, I couldn't hear. But yeah, so it's one of those things where I feel like you really have to understand how to leverage education, like he said, and to utilize it to the best of your abilities. So that's another thing I want to ask. Challenges. Oh, I got a good one. So what is like your 5 to 10 year like plan? Like where do you see yourself going? And it could be in 2 years, because you know the way things are moving for you, it could be next month. So do you have like an overarching like place that you want to be, that you've called success, or success always continues? How does it work for you?
I think success always continues. For me, I never have a finish line. So every time I achieve a goal, I want the next goal. And that's kind of a problem for me, because like I'll go achieve this great goal and be like, what's next? Immediately. Like it's never enough for me. And that, like, honestly, I'm going to be seeking therapy, because I'm like,
yes.
It's tough for me, because I'll smash a goal and immediately the next day, what's next? I'll go buy something new that I want. Next day, I'm done with it. Or I'm like, what's next? So for me, is I'm constantly looking, but I think my ultimate goal, I think I'm going to shift and really focus on. My friend said something earlier, like, man, I get so many messages just about people want to get started in business learning, but they're adults. Their mind has already been skewed. They're already like tapped out. Like, bro, we need to focus on the youth, because if you could get to the youth now, you can avoid a lot of the reason why we're in debt, the reason why our credit is messed up, the reason why we don't own businesses, the reason why we don't know about the difference between assets and liabilities, because this was not instilled in us as a child.
Right.
If these things are instilled in us over and over and over again, you're constantly in the environments, osmosis. Like, it's like, man, I can't go down that path, right? They say a wise man, pretty much a wise man learned from the mistakes of others. Like, listen, if I'm seeing somebody went down this path and it didn't work, I probably need to switch paths. So my thing is, I want to help maybe 10,000 kids around the nation start businesses, because entrepreneurs, they solve all the issues in the world, man. They solve all the problems. So it's like, man, if we help more entrepreneurs, I mean, more problems are going to be solved, more diseases will be cured, more things will be happening. And then everybody I teach, they got to teach someone else.
Exactly.
So that's the name of the game for me. If I teach you, you got to teach somebody else. And that way we constantly pulling each other up.
Exactly. That's the goal. Support. You know, I feel like we covered everything. This is great. This is really great. And the last thing that I want you to kind of like end off on is you touched on a lot of great things. You know, dropped a lot of gems that I'm going to be bulleting though when I'm editing, because I feel like they need to be bold on the screen. But what do you want to leave, my audience with, to just continue to push through? A quote you may live by, something that you heard that resonated with you. What do you want to leave them with?
I mean, I would honestly say just to take action. I mean, so many of us not where we want to be because we overcomplicate things. Every business I have now has been by a mistake or by someone suggested it to me. Everything I do now, I just commit first, figure out the rest later. I don't overcomplicate anything. Like, how do I start it? What do I need? How much money do it cost? And what do I got to do to make it happen? And that's it. I'm not asking all these other questions, but how much? What if it go wrong? No, what if it go right? Like 2019 is about the year. What if it go right? What happens if I bet on myself? So this is the year that I want anyone listening that you start that business, right? If it's a job, get the promotion. If you want to get that degree, get it. Like, stop overcomplicating it. Set out in your mind that it has to work or it has to work. We live by the motto, it has to work or it has to work. It's not a plan B. I hear so many people got plan B. That's why plan A never works. Like, you should have two plans, actually. You should have a plan B, right? Plan A is to make sure your goals and dreams work. And plan B is to never forget plan A. So that's pretty much what I'm going to leave with you guys. Take massive action on your goals and dreams. Every single day, be diligent, be determined. Don't share your goals and dreams with small-minded people, and only get around people who want to see you win and excel. And that's going to be a guaranteed way for you to do the exact same
thing. Boom. So, Nehemiah, how can everyone get in touch with you? Drop your Instagram, your podcast, your social medias, your books, everything.
Yeah, so you can check me out on my podcast. Is the thing I'm pushing right now is literally a degree for free. like legit a degree for free. So far, we we have about 28 episodes done already, with another 20 just in the queue right now. Right. And everyone we interview, they're 6-figure earner, 7-figure earner, 8-figure earner, or 9-figure earner that actually come to teach you the things they wish they were taught and give you practical and tactical tips for you to get there. And guess what? You can go tune in for all of that for free. So that's called Accelerate to Great. And the reason why I did this podcast, because my last year in college, like, I was taking business 101, but I was being taught business by someone who did not own a business. It didn't make sense to me. I was being taught marketing by someone who was not a marketer. I was taking real estate 101 from a gentleman who did not own real estate. So the concept of having someone teach me who don't do what they actually do is baffling to me. So this is the reason why I started my podcast, to be able to help people literally accelerate the great, skip some steps, and get basically a degree, get a degree for free. So check that out. And my Instagram is Neo Daviso. That's NEODAVISO.
All right. Well, thank you so much for dropping in and dropping those gems. We look forward. We're gonna link up again. This is not the end. This is not the end of Nehemiah and I. So please stay tuned. And thank you so much for having my audience and, reaching out.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm happy we met at the event. Happy I was able to join your incredible show.
Thank you. Oh, wait, one thing. What did you get from Funnel Hacking Live? What tool did you take away from that?
What tool did I take away from Funnel Hacking? I got a mentor. I got Dan Locke. I was able to interview him. The tool that, and maybe this is not a tool, but I want to share it with others. When you go to conferences, stop going up to the speakers just for a selfie, right? So many people go up to the speakers just to get a selfie. You're in the presence of, most likely you're going for a picture because you're in the presence of greatness. How can you immediately find a way to add value to that person, or find a way that you can possibly extract value, and not literally just like not in a negative way when I say extract, because a lot of people just, what can I get from you? But more so in a way of, hey, I would love to interview you. Hey, I would love to get your story out to more people. Hey, I would love to have you on my podcast. Hey, I would love to do a story on you. Some way of adding value. So anytime I go to someone, Dan Locke did a podcast interview because I asked. So what I got from conferences, or what I can share, is you need to ask for what you want. And the main thing I just learned more skills on selling. That's the main takeaway. Sell. It's okay to sell. That's what they basically let you know. So those would be my tips that I got from there.
All right, guys. So we're going to end on a very positive, great note. So take action was the main thing that I feel like we need to just start. Just take action. You heard it from Nehemiah. Guys, look him up. Please follow his podcast, because that degree for free, I can only imagine how many lives it's going to change if you let it. So we'll see you guys next time.
That's good.